Welcome to another edition of the Nightly Nuge. And Ted, it's with a sad heart that I want to let our viewers know, and I want to dedicate all of the shows this week to our producer, Tim Lamar, who lost his mom very recently, and Patricia Duffy Lamar.
Yeah, Tim, the Nugent family prayers are with you nonstop for your strength and remembering all the wonderful, wonderful gifts that you got from your mom, because in the wind, she's still alive.
And Ted, I sure hope you didn't have money in the Silicon Valley Bank. But wait a minute. It might be okay, because I think the government's going to give them a King's X and say, hey, we're going to make sure all taxpayers give you your money back. What's your take on what's going on up there?
Well, my take on what's going on up there is my take on what's going on in the United States of America. It is as ugly and as treasonous and as criminal and corrupt and dishonest, and that is the manifestation of this overall spiritual warfare that we're in right now. But let me start off the Nightly News here, Keith, to thank you and thank Tim and thank everybody out there who joins us on the Nightly News for spreading the word, because I am your truth, logic, and common sense crowbar daddy. And I want to start this off. We can identify, and we're going to identify all the egregious criminality running amok at the hands of Uncle Sam right now. Difficult words to get out, but irrefutable. I would just like to say that I'm working with General Paul Vallely with an Operation Jericho, and we're going to get the victims of January 6th scam and what's going on up there. We're working on that. I've got some great friends. We're going turkey hunting. We're going bow fishing. We're picking up shed antlers. So yes, that is a horror story up there. I'm investing in gold myself. I got a Bishop Gold Group. Bishop Gold Group. Yeah, something you can actually hold in your hand like Remington ammo. My point being is that now more than ever, we have to improvise, adapt, and overcome, but you have to have a diverse portfolio, said the author of Wango Tango, and you have to have investments in tangible, physical products that benefit your life. I hope people out there are ready for survival. I hope they have adequate food, medicine, water, adequate water supply. Buy some of those jugs if you have to. We've got that here at the Nugent Ranch. So yes, what's going on in Silicon Valley is just another slap in the face of good American families who try to earn their own way, save for a rainy day, and live within our means. And then the bank system, while the bosses at the bank get their golden umbrella, I think it's actually a golden shower umbrella, and they make out like bandits, because they're bandits. But meanwhile, the working families are taking it in the ass. So all I can say, everybody, is yes, we can identify all the scourges and all the travesties and all the tragedies, but you've got to communicate nonstop. What's going on up in Wisconsin, they're about to allow a Supreme Court judge to weasel her way in that is literally a Joe Biden gangster, anti-American, anti-Constitution, anti-law and order, anti-gun, anti-conservation, anti-freedom, anti-American values. So there's a lot on the table on Nightly News, but most importantly, don't give up, my friends. Do not give up. Do not surrender. Do not think that they're winning. It looks like they're winning, but I see incremental upgrades taking place, and we will keep you abreast right here on the Nightly Nuge, because we are still confident. We are addicted to positive energy, spirit, and attitude, and we're going to keep hammering our elected employees that we see what they're doing, and we're going to replace our elected employees if they keep doing this stuff.
I want to hit all those topics later in the week. J6 tomorrow. I mean, there's a lot to be talking about that. I know you're on the ground floor of that. But before we leave the Silicon Valley Bank story, I want to point out a couple of things and let you have the final word on it. First of all, the bank had no risk officer for 8 months. And during that time, and that was very recently, during that time, they're not worrying about the risks of loans and other investments that the bank's involved in, but they were involved in inclusion activities, LGBTQRSTUV type of activities. And Ted, the chief administration officer of that bank, was at Lehman Brothers when it collapsed as their CFO prior to the collapse. Now, the last thing I'm going to say is, if Ted Nugent booked a concert tour and you paid a lot of money to rent arenas and you paid your crew, you got ready and you showed up and no one bought a ticket, would anyone bail you out, Ted? I mean, if Keith Markin invested in some fly-by-night stock, is somebody going to come back and give me my money back? No, but apparently the Biden administration, because the people that are losing money in this bank, including the royals, they say it may be Meghan Markle and her royal partner. I can't even think of his name, the crybaby, the redheaded crybaby. But basically now they're going to say the $250,000 limit that you and I would have if our banks failed, we're just not going to have it apply out there at the Silicon Valley Bank. What's your final word on all of that nonsense?
See those giant buildings with the name of your bank on it? See all those high-paid bosses and presidents and CFOs and CEOs and CCOs and I got some other designations. Your money is not there. All those deposits you made, they spent it. Yeah, there's a system by which they take your hard-earned money and they invest it so they can make a profit. But all these guys at the top, they are not going to be hurt at all. Only the working hard, playing hard Americans at the bottom are going to be hurt. And once again, of course, they're going to cover this one because the bosses and the presidents and the CFOs and the CEOs, they made out like bandits. They got all their money and they're off on their yacht while the people are standing in line looking for their hard-earned money because they were doing the right thing. I'm afraid at this juncture, Keith, we just can't trust anybody. The government just keeps printing paper, and they're going to cover these thieving activities by these criminal, corrupt, lying, scamming carpetbaggers that run the banks in America. And I would like to say that only the guilty need to feel guilty, but I'm afraid it's so widespread as to approach universality. So all I can say, my friends, is we have to improvise, adapt, and overcome like never before. But we need to call our elected employees and let our senators and congressmen know that we see what's going on here. And as they send pallets of dollars to our enemies and send all our military equipment to our enemies, and as they pay Planned Parenthood our hard-earned tax dollar, the Planned Parenthood is the enemy of America, the enemy of humankind, the Sanger slaughterhouse. They're spending and burning our tax dollars without our authorization. We have got to raise more hell. I would like people to, little simple thing, I keep saying this and people just shrug their shoulders, hunternation.org. Hunternation.org and huntthevote.org. We need to take this country back step by step because while we were sleeping, the devil took over. And this is just another example, Keith. So my heart's broke. I just hope all these people are covered. But how many more times are we going to bail out thieves?
Well, very pointed. You know what, Ted, tomorrow I want to talk to you about the J6. You know, all the new information that's coming out from the video. I know you're on the ground floor with, somebody that's really in tune to what's going on. Our listeners and our viewers are going to want to hear all about that tomorrow, right here on the Nightly News.
Thank you, everybody. See you tomorrow.